Now we'll have this recorded. Okay. So it doesn't show up as recast, so that's fine. I lost it. Okay, cast. Okay. All right. Awesome. Okay. Yeah, it's fine. I want it there. Okay, so we'll just look at the differences between these two apps. There are others, but Pix4D Capture and GoDeploy, kind of ones I talked about. I'm going to open up Pix4D Capture, and you do have to log in. You have to set up an account. They're not all that way, but both Pix4D and GoDeploy are that way. You have to log in to have an account. Let's make the. I want to say okay now. Done. There it is. Okay. I thought it already logged in on this one. Okay, so it looks like they have added Polygon mission. All right. Okay, so what we want to do is typically it like knows where you are. If there's a GPS in your tablet, I went cheap and I don't have a GPS on this tablet. Yes, so that's fine. So I'll just zoom out here and figure out where we are. Probably. All right, so there we are. Actually, it is putting a dot, probably using the network. Yeah. So there is a way to reset this here. The GPS says I'm there for some reason when I go back. I did that. Okay. There we go. That's the button. It's this button in the lower right that has a little guy like that. That's the reset button. This guy right here. I'll reset that button. So now I could plan a mission over this area, or I would still have to kind of do this drag and drop thing, because usually you don't want to plan a mission where you are. You want to plan a mission where you want to fly. So I think I can actually just zoom in and hit the refresh button, and it'll zoom into that area. I'm going to hit the satellite view, which is this button right here, rather than street view. So if I wanted to fly over Lake Sahoy again, I have to find it first. There it is. So zoom into Lake Sahoy, and then I'm pressing this button again, and it's showing me. So this is just kind of the default view. Here's the start. Here's the end. It used to be that it had to be a rectangle, but now it allows me to change any of these little guys, which I like that a lot. Because lots of times you don't want to collect a rectangular area. So that's one reason why I kind of gave up on using Pix4D. So this is great, because before this, it was a good one. Before I found others. So let's say I want to get just the lake area. I plan my area. That's the area I want to fly. And then I can change some of the settings up here. That's this button right here. When I hit it, does it show up that I'm hitting that? Yeah. No. I was wondering if it like made a little splash. So I'm hitting this button right here, and I can change a few things. I can change The overlap, I can change the angle, whether or not it's facing down or not, and I can change the speed. Now, this angle is actually expressed the opposite of the way I was doing it in the lecture, and some do it that way and some don't. So the angle here, 90 means straight down, and so if I go 80, in the lecture when I said 10, I meant like 10 degrees off of nadir. And so that would be pointed just barely off. So when I said that, when I want to do a double grid pattern, I said go between 10 to 15, I meant here, this setting should be between 75 and 80. All right. It's 10 degrees off of nadir. This is telling you 90 means nadir. I think, in my mind, 0 straight down is nadir. Okay. So I'm going to leave that at 90 for now, actually. So the overlap here is set at 80, which is the highest it goes in Pix4D Mapper. But in other software, it'll go higher. So you'll notice that, oh, maybe it does go to 90. Oh, it goes to 95. I thought it was only 80. Okay. But 85 is really the highest I'd ever want to fly it. That's getting pretty close to ridiculous amount of overlap. 90% overlap. In other words, only 10% of your picture is unique on every flight line. Okay. Anyway, notice that as I change these numbers change. So right now, that's going to take me 145 minutes to fly that area, even set on fast. So I need to change some stuff in order to get that practical. How many batteries is 1 hour and 45 minutes? It's probably
6.
Yeah, 6 or so.
6 or 7.
That's a lot of batteries. Where's the angle speed? The flying height's over there. So the flying height is pretty low right now. If I want to change the flying height, I'm going to go all the way up to 400 feet. I can get so much more data at 400 feet. See how it's changing the time down there? And interestingly, it'll allow me to go over 400 because it's not like in the business of enforcing the drone laws. Okay, 400 now it's just 2 batteries. So it changes it at like. It's a significant difference going as you go up. Thinking about every time you double the altitude, you're quadrupling what you see in the same time period. And so the minutes are going to go like that. So this is 30 times 3 would be about a little bit under 100, 4 or 5. Yeah, about 5 of those to get to 140. Yeah, you can. So that is one thing I was going to mention, is that there's this trade-off. I personally, my own way of doing it is that I like to plan each mission as its own battery. The reason that I like to do that is that like if the app crashes, it forgets that you were halfway through that mission. And it doesn't know, and you might not remember where it was. These kind of apps, they crash a little bit more than the typical applications. And so I like to do that. However, these apps do allow you to land, change the battery, and resume the mission. So that's the answer to your question is yes, but I don't like to use that feature. So what I like to do is modify this until I get to about, I like to do it for both of these that have a claimed flying time of 20 or so minutes. I like to get it 25 minutes. I like to get it under 20 minutes. So that's a little bit conservative, but that's what I like to do. Get it under 20 minutes. So now I'm at 23. I wonder if there's a way to get rid of some of these points. I haven't used Polygon before in this one, so I should probably read the instructions better. But yeah, I like to get these down so that there's less than 20 minutes like that. Now it's less than 20 minutes, and I could fly again over here. And notice I've kept the angle this way, so when I fly this one, I should keep the angle this way as well. Okay. There are people that say that the angle you should always fly east-west rather than north-south. And their reasoning for that is that that way, as the sun changes, the changes in this way will be less. You're going with the sun if you're flying this way, and so your flight lines will all be a similar sun. Then if you flew this way and let's say it took you 2 hours to fly this way, then when you collected this area, your sun would be different than when you collected this area, right? But if it took you 2 hours to fly this way, we're assuming that most of these tracks going this way are collected around the same time. And so you're flying over this entire area in a similar way. So your pictures, they look more similar as sequence goes by. But that doesn't really matter if your flight's only going to be 20 minutes. So we could go either direction. So if it doesn't matter, my recommendation and most recommendations are that you fly the direction that's the longest direction. You fly that direction, and that way you'll turn around less often, and turning around does take a few seconds off of your flight time, and it calculates that. So watch this. Same flight area, it should be that if I fly at this angle, that this doesn't increase. In fact, it decreases just a little bit, that particular angle. You actually just, on this one, you just touch here, and it'll allow you to go. I'm not sure exactly why that's about the same time. But typically, it would be a little bit longer to fly this. That's almost a perfect, not a perfect square, but it's almost a square area. So whatever the math works out there, that it's about the same either direction. This last button here, for flying a grid mission or a rover mission like this doesn't really matter. In fact, you want that to be on face forward. Face center, what it means is that the camera will always be facing the middle. So as it flies, it'll be trying to face the center of the thing the whole time, which would be silly if you're pointing straight down. It'd be more consistent if it flew like that. There are some softwares that allow you to actually specify whether you want to fly perpendicular or parallel to the path. But if they don't specify it, you're flying parallel. So, in other words, the wider image is this direction, like I had on the diagram. So for this software, that's what it's doing. Yeah.
Will it let you change the start and end point, or you just have to rotate?
This software, yeah, it'll allow you to do that by just doing the opposite. So, but it won't allow you to change where the start and end points are. So these are the two choices you have are the opposite. So right now it's right there. That's the same mission as this mission. I just flipped it around.
Yeah, I see. That's what I was wondering, because I was thinking if I was going to fly, I'd want to make my end point as close to return to home as possible, so that I had.
Yeah, most of these will not allow you to do anything but those two options. Yes, Pix4D Mapper only allows you to have the
It's difficult for two overlaps. Polygon only does one for some reason, but if you go back, it has dual grid and everything.
the double grid will allow you to do that. So the double grid will allow you to do that. That makes sense though, because the double grid is going two directions. Let's see if this allows you to do it. No. All right, so once you get done planning your mission, once you get done planning your mission, you can save it. So you can save out multiple missions. That's the idea. That's the way I like to do it anyway, is that we get all the batteries saved up, and then we hit the save button down here, in the lower right, and you can save the image. This one's just calling it Mission 1. Okay. And then it's, by default, it's saved in Project 7. I've had other projects that are saved up there. I think you can rename the project, so we can call this Lake. And then I could, from here, I can add another mission. So that little plus button, if I hit that plus button, then I could add another polygon mission or another non-polygon mission to this area. By default, it shows me that original polygon mission. And so I could start with that in mind. That's kind of nice. And just kind of move this down to there. And do my second polygon mission. Yeah, in fact, most software doesn't do what this is doing. So this is brand new with the polygon missions, I guess. Is that most of them don't show both of these there. In fact, it used to not do that either. So that's kind of nice that it shows you both. So then I can save this into Project 7, and now I've got these two missions. So I can bring this one up and go back. Oops. Project list. That's the whole way. I could go to project. Oh, they hit open. So now I can fly. I can get ready to fly that.
All right, now you've got an alert up there that says hi.
Yeah, it's
Mine
telling me.
says too big.
Well, if it says it's too big, then what that means is that it doesn't think it can finish it in the proper time. And one thing I forgot to do is that when you first get in here, if you've opened it up for the first time, it'll actually tell you, it'll actually ask you what drone you're planning this for. So if you got into this brand new, it would ask you what drone you're planning for. So we've got Phantom 4 Pro. We've also got the Mavic Pro, which I fly sometimes, and the Mavic 2 Pro. So, make sure you're planning for the appropriate drone. This software is made by Pix4D. Pix4D is actually the parent company of Parrot. They own Parrot. They have an AFI, Bebop, and Bluegrass. I don't even know what these two drones are, but they also have almost all the GHY drones, including the more professional drones, the ones that cost. The Inspire is a couple $1,000, and then this Matrice, with a nice camera on it, would be over $10,000. So they've even got the fancier Matrice 210 would be in that price range. So Phantom 2 Pro, so why do you need to put that information in there? Well, because it has all the camera information. So if I change, I'm not sure it'll change the missions that are already planned, but let's see. Let's change it back to Mavic 2 Pro, or Mavic Pro, and go look at my project list, Lake Sahoy, and open up that mission. It did change it in real time. So see how it is now set for 21 minutes. It's going to take the Mavic to fly that. Why? Well, the Mavic doesn't have as many megapixels, so at the same flying height, it's not collecting as much data, so it actually has to fly a little bit closer together to get the same ground sampling distance. And so these fly lines are closer together than they were before. Okay? So just turn this on real quick, and show you how I would. Because this doesn't. Do you see anywhere to set the image parameters? There's nowhere to set the image parameters in this one.
What's the picture icon on the top left? That's right.
Yeah, well, okay, you can basically change between, well, it'll show you the image, that's fine. Let's connect it up and see what happens. But there is usually a setting somewhere that allows you to say, let this app control the parameters, in which case it's going to choose auto, or use the settings from the GHY app. Mr. Disorganized on my cords today because I was trying a million things until you helped me figure it out. Forgot to charge my drone. Okay. That's not. It's not recognizing my device.
Do you have the drone app on your app?
Yeah. Yeah, I have the. So it's telling me right now on the phone, I mean on the controller, that this is a no-fly zone. Interesting. Yeah, it's saying it's not connected. Anybody else have one of these the micro USB? Borrow? I'm just gonna try different keys. Oh, yeah, that's right then. Oh. Okay, there we go. All right, so if you're going to use one of these third-party apps like Pix4D, you want to make sure that you don't ever hit this use default for USB accessory, because you want to change it each time you open it. Okay? So just say OK, or just say cancel.
You don't want to allow it in your other program?
Yes, in this one though, I want to choose the app that I want to use. So if I'm actually going to fly that mission that I just showed you, when I first turn on the drone, I want to go to GHY Go 4 because I want to set the camera parameters up correctly, then fly the drone. So the first time I plug it in, I want to hit this and say just once. Because so that's the one where you don't. I don't know why.
You gotta enter device. I did it earlier. I don't know if it's a change on the finger or what, but
Yeah.
I would hit enter device, connect aircraft.
Let me try this one more time. Okay. GHY Go 4, just once. There is a way in the settings to tell it to forget which one. So if you ever forgot, there we go. It'll work this time. Sometimes it thinks that it needs to open the GHY app for you. So now it says go fly. All right, so when I get here, all right, I got the camera on, and here are all the camera settings that I can change. I can go into the settings button, and you have an option to either do auto, which is what it'll do by default, or you can choose manual. And you can change the values here. The Phantom, I thought the Mavic did too, but maybe the Mavic 2 does. So if there's an S, you're sitting on shutter priority. I really did think that this one had that. So I, pointed out there somewhere. It's a very cloudy day, and I could change. I want to change the shutter here to 1,000, 1/1000. Now in this dark area, I'm not getting anything. But if I put it outside, I'm getting something. But I still couldn't collect data like that. It's too dark today to fly at 1,000 with this ISO, with ISO 100. Well, let's change the ISO up to 400 because I said 400 is probably going to be acceptable. What does that look like? Well, now I can at least see a few things. I could set this somewhere. I can see outside. Yeah. I could probably fly like that, but it's still a little bit dark. It's going to fall. Okay. So notice it's on autofocus. See how I tried to take an autofocus? I'm trying to hit it on there. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. So I'd said 800 would probably be acceptable. That image would be nicer if I could get more of the outside. That area looks pretty bright enough. That looks like an acceptable picture. I just want to fly a little bit slower, ISO 400. Again, I probably would never fly on this type of day because it's raining. But that's how I would set it up. You can, if you notice, you do have the ability to change the type of image that is acquired. Oh, I'm on, there we go. Now I'm on regular image. I was on video before. Okay, still doesn't do, I'm surprised it doesn't do shutter. I thought it would. Okay, so, but here's where I could set whether I want to do JPEG or JPEG plus RAW. The only, it'd be ideal if you could take it as a RAW, but all the software, it won't actually collect in an automatic mission except for a JPEG. You could set that there, but it won't change anything. All right, so what you do that, and then you could go ahead and close this app. Is there anything else we want to change? Here's the automatic focus, manual focus. So if you did want to change the focus, you would set it on something that was really far away like that. And then up in the upper right-hand corner, the AFC MF, that changes the auto manual. So if you wanted to not worry about it changing focus at any point, I've actually had times where it did that and it did it wrong. Focused on a bird flying by or the top of a tree. So you hit this button right here, this AFC MF. Now it's in manual focus mode. So now it won't focus anywhere else. If you're flying above 400, lots of times you can just jack that all the way up to infinity and it'll be in focus with the ground, but not always. So in any case, now we're done setting up the camera, and we can unplug this device or close it. I like to close it, then unplug the device, then plug it back in. And then the next time it opens, tell it to do Pix4D. So say, okay, and you say, I'm going to do Pix4D just once. And now I could be ready to start that mission. If I hit start, I don't know what it would do. I don't think it's going to do anything. Okay, it's not connected to the drone right now. I don't know why. Unplug, plug back in. Did I say just once or always? Or maybe we're so close to the... Oh, connected to the drone. There we go. So then we go next, and it'll give you a little takeoff list. It's not going to let me take off right now, so, but it's connected and it would normally fly. It checks things like the battery. So right now the drone battery is too low to fly. It also checks if it's going to get GPS. So we would put an X by all those. It wouldn't actually let us fly right here anyway. Okay, so.
Now, do you get a camera view
Yeah, let's see if I can.
when it goes?
You do in Pix4D capture, you get a camera view. So you get a camera view even, I think you can look at it right now, but you can't change any of the camera settings. So if I hit this little icon right up there, I should get, yeah, usually you'll get a camera view right there. Oh, maybe it's just because this. No. I'm not exactly sure why the camera's not connecting, but it's about right for today because everything's going wrong. Okay, so let's look at drone deploy real quick. It's got very similar, but I think a few more options. That's the reason why I like it better, but it crashes a ton, or it used to crash a ton. I've heard somebody, like I said, one of my colleagues told me it works better. So let me put in Pix4D crashed. George.Raber. It's been so long since I signed in, and I'm signed in on my iPad, but I guess that shows up. Well, this is the password I always use for university things, so it's not my bank or anything. But it is the administrator password on all the machines you're sitting in front of. But don't tell anybody I told you. Nope, I don't know what that means. Service provider? I guess. Anyway, we don't have to show drone deploy right now. There's videos that talk about it, but it does, drone deploy does have a separate slider for like flying height, and it has a separate slider for the two different overlaps, the side lap and the forelap, unlike what we just did.
So the setting on the other one, does it do the same overlap?
In both directions, yeah. He pointed out that if you choose the rectangular mission, it'll allow you to do different. Was it grid mission or double grid or both? It'll allow you to choose. Nope. So with the double grid, it still doesn't look like it has, yeah, so no, it says it only has one overlap. Anyway, so you got circular emission, that isn't in drone deploy or circular emission, so that could be helpful. But you can do this in the DJI Go app. You can do an orbit, they call it an orbit. And then free flight mission, I've actually found it useful in several situations where it's really windy, but you do have to pay attention to where it's actually taking pictures. And it does provide audio feedback if you have your computer turned up when it's taking a picture. So sometimes I've been flying and I've noticed that sound all of a sudden stops. I don't know why, but it does. So different, their computers, they glitch out sometimes, and if it stops taking pictures, that can be bad. All right, so what I'd like you to do is either in Drone Deploy or in Pix4D Capture, or even in an app of your choosing. There's another one called Map Pilot. It's from Maps Made Easy. Is to plan a mission of Lake Sahoy that's under 20 minutes, and we'll fly it next week when we're all together. We might not fly every single person's mission, but I want everybody to plan one. So if you don't have an Android or an iOS device, then get with me and we can plan it on this one. But I want everybody to have an opportunity to do that. Yeah.
I would like to plan on that, and all and do that this weekend.
That's one of the requirements for the class. So go ahead and do it. Yeah, that's fine. Yep. Okay, so yeah, and the other thing about Drone Deploy is it explicitly lets you download the base map. It's kind of neat that way. That's another reason why. Both Drone Deploy and Pix4D Capture are free to use the capture apps. We'll talk about this later, but to process the data, so once you have the data, the desktop app that actually processes the data is not free. Yeah. So both Drone Deploy and Pix4D also have a cloud version where you upload the data to the cloud and it operates up there. And those both have trials, and I forgot how long the trials are. You said it's 2 weeks for I think it might be a month for Drone Deploy. And
I'm pretty sure it's 2 weeks for 15 days.
so, not that I would advocate this, but I have a colleague that teaches a similar course, and they just timed it so that every student signed up for a trial all the way throughout the semester. So I don't know if that's in, but try for free. It's 14 days. But you are limited to 10 maps, so it's not like you can just go crazy with it. And then, as I mentioned, and we'll test this out. As I mentioned, ArcGIS now has the functionality built into it, ArcGIS Pro. And so we're going to test it out in there. I did it once with Tyler. He's not here today. It didn't look really good compared to these other softwares. But we'll try it under a few different scenarios and see if it works better in some scenarios than others. All right, well, we'll go ahead and end there for today. And hopefully a fair bit of this made it up on the projector. We'll meet next week by the van again. Okay, so same place we met last week. I would like to go to Lake Thoreau, so I need to get permission. If I get permission, we'll go to Lake Thoreau. Oh, so it matters right now, though, if we're going to plan missions. Let's just plan missions for Lake Sahoy. We'll do Lake Thoreau for sure. I do have permission to go later in the semester. So we'll do Lake Sahoy this next time, and then we'll go to Thoreau after that. Yeah, if it's raining, that's a good question. It's a week from today. Is it supposed to rain? Okay. Well, it's 7 days out, so it might not actually end up raining. If it's not raining, I'll put an announcement on Canvas, and yeah, we'll come to class. And in that case, what I'll have done is, can use one of the other data sets that I've already created, and we'll start talking about photogrammetry and processing the data. Depends on the software. So Drone Deploy allows you to, it's part of your account. So it's up there, and if you log in on another device, then you can do that. I don't know about Pix4D capture.
Same for Pix4D, if you have the account, you can upload to the mobile data and then go to that.
But I'm not talking about the data.
Well, that's what she was asking, did she put
No, like your mission, if you save your mission, can you share that?
I don't know about the flight path, but the data was included.
Yes. Yeah, well, that's if you upload it, which they charge money for that part of it. So let's see. I don't think that they do personally, but I don't know that for sure. So that's a good question, but I don't see an option to share it on there. So in that case, yeah, you just bring it and we look it up and we fly it off of there. But it might not work for everybody, but as long as you show it, they'll know you did it. All right. So.